and less gray hair. Yeah, see, they're less gray hair, no? Okay, so maybe you can the camera turn towards the people also so they can show the screen?
Oh, it was showing.
It was showing. Okay. So welcome everybody. This is I'm Shashi Gokia from. Yeah. Okay. Maybe we'll sit here. So I am Shashi Gokia from Sathi, India, but also a part of the EMEA Telehealth Group. And yesterday we had a session on the work that we are doing regarding a book that we are creating for various people. We have 4 editors in that book, and that 4 editors are jointly inviting you all for the official launch of this book, which is going to be launched chapter-wise. So the initial chapters are being launched today. And we thank you all for your presence. And Arun, who has arranged most of the things, he is speaking from New Zealand. There are another editor, Gurikpal Singh Jaya, is there or not? Anyway, Arun, please take over from here, and he will take off from the meeting soon. I was just there to introduce you. The other editor, Simi Bajaj, is with me, and thank you for joining. Arun, please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Gogia. It's a real pleasure to speak on this occasion. I'm missing you all. I would have been in the meeting, but for some reason for some personal reason I will not be able to present in person. So let me give you a very quick rundown through what the book is about and what is the status of the book at this stage. And I think then I will probably hand the proceedings back to Dr. Gogia and Simi to talk about their impressions and the work that we have been doing for the last almost over a year now. Just a quick question: are you able to view the book that should say the screen of the book that should say executive summary?
Yes, we are.
All right, thank you very much. So I wanted to give you a rough idea about what the book is about. This book is essentially about creating a handbook for people who are either remotely located in various parts of the world, including in the Pacific Islands and remote parts, in remote settings, where they would like to do and practice remote care and digital health. And as those of you who were present in yesterday's GA meeting, there was a very clear demarcation and clarity around what is digital health and where do we place remote care and telemedicine and telehealth. And I'm quite happy that is also the stand. So we would like to call this as a remote care and digital health book. It is a kind of a continuation, but not quite a second edition, though. But it's a very strong continuation of a previous, very successful book for which Dr. Gogia was the editor-in-chief, and that book was Handbook. I think that book was called Telehealth and Telecare Handbook, or was that a textbook of telehealth and telecare?
Fundamentals.
Widely popular, major book. And so what we had done
was Arun, just to inform, it was called Fundamentals of Telemedicine and
Fundamentals of Telehealth and Telecare. It's one of the. It was a great book, but we thought that as any textbook is outdated by the time it gets published, things moved on very fast. So we thought that this is a good time now to launch another book, and fortunately, we received a publishing grant from the Council of Australian University Librarians, and the 2 recipients are Dr. Simi Kamini Bajaj, who is present in the room, and yours truly. Simi is from the Western Sydney University, so I invite Simi to provide her perspective of how it was, and we have and in my case, the award was given to the University of Canterbury. And this is, as happens, it's a multi-author textbook, or a handbook, which should be able to be used by everybody. It's going to be a free textbook. It's going to live on the web. It's going to be a book that everybody and anybody can be able to read, can make use of. And as a matter of fact, we would like to really invite you, if any of you are interested to contribute a chapter to the book, we are more than happy to welcome you, and we'll provide you with the guidance and all the resources that are needed. At the moment, we've got 4 chapters. More chapters are coming. And I would like to show you the first one that was completed. It's called Remote Care in Indigenous Communities. And this chapter was written by Associate Professor Christopher Pierce from Macquarie University. And it was a solo authored chapter. As you can see, the layout of the chapter has got introduction, background, images, tables, and and we'd like to make this book as accessible and as usable as possible for people who would like to make use of a text which they can take to the field and can make use of. And that's a reason we would like to make this book a almost like a field guide and a handbook for people who work in the remote parts. So while the book is partly finished, we are in a state where we will be able to release the full text of the book in public domain. At the moment, because the book is being worked out and we are still adding contents to the book. Therefore, at the moment, the book is limited to the editors. But we should, if any of you are interested in a copy of the PDF chapters and so on and so forth, if you can please get in touch with Dr. Gogia or Dr. Bajaj, we should be happy to send you those chapters individually. But please keep in mind that this is a living textbook and it's very much a work in progress. So I am going to stop here and probably let Simi and Dr. Gogia to add their thoughts and visions, and then we'll probably have a round of discussions and questions and answers from you.
I'll ask Dr. Simi to go ahead.
Thanks, Arun. Good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to add some more information to what Arun has spoken about. The biggest value for this textbook that we learned from the previous one that Dr. Gogia edited was that it was a paid book. And a lot of people wanted to access it, but some could not because it was paid. It costed $100. So this book is published on Pressbooks, which is an open platform, and anybody and everybody would be able to access it. Given the nature of the book, I'm hesitating saying textbook. I would say book because it's in a handbook format, and it's for anybody and everybody who is practicing telehealth would be able to refer to the book to access the knowledge shared by the textbook. The way the content is written is very simple and easy to understand, with pictorial representations in form of figures, tables, graphics, images, to illustrate the examples and the work so that it is relatable. Picture is worth 1,000 words for the same reason. So it is, and the book is in 5 parts. We have total 20 chapters. The last part is purely focused on case studies. So we are celebrating the successes that have been experienced, and the author set comes from 10 countries across several institutions. Because the book is funded by CALL, there was a requirement to have focused chapters, one on Australian and other on New Zealand Indigenous communities. So the third part has 1 chapter focused on Indigenous communities of Australia, which is chapter 15. Fourth part. And chapter 14 is focusing on Maori communities in New Zealand. The chapter 16 is where we are focusing on global Indigenous communities. And I invite anyone who has done any work or know someone who has done work in the area to contribute to that chapter. I have taken a sabbatical this semester to focus on the rest of the book and to make sure that we are able to finish the book by the end of the year and is published by then. So the goal is to publish it by December 2025. Hence, we are making loud announcements if somebody wants to contribute to chapters, because the aim here is to capture all of the experience and knowledge and expertise shared via this handbook, which is accessible freely to all. I'll pass to Dr. Gogia.
Thank you, Sunny. And before I invite Jack and some other people, just one more comment that we wanted was, and I request Arun, can you share on screen the 4th and 5th chapters also? If you can.
Yes.
Show, it'll be better because, it'll show you the practicality. This is only Australia. So it may, of course, the experience that they've undergone for indigenous is very, very important. But overall, we have tried to make it a very, very practical handbook. Things like, how do you send a message across if you don't have a scanner? How do you use a, normal device? What happens when the power goes down? Very, very small things which are very important for practical suggestions is what we have tried to focus on. It's something to work on. And now I invite Jack, please come and say a few words, and then we'll be inviting Albino.
Just one quick small example before that, when we are talking about, so simplicity in terms of how to capture data or how to connect to internet, to our chapter 19 is data analytics. So we are covering AI, use of Gen AI, but we are also covering simplest form, what is TCP/IP, how to connect, etc. So from very simple to the latest topics are being covered through this comprehensive handbook. I invite you. Thank you.
Hi, Jack. I hope everybody knows Jack, the past president of IMI.
Well, actually, on behalf of EMEA, I'm here to congratulate Gogia and your colleagues to the successful launch of this book, Remote Care and Digital Health. And personally, I can feel deeply how important this type of work or book is, because we've been doing teledermatology in Mongolia, and eventually the project became a national project, so it spreads to all the 300 villages of Mongolia Republic. And we also did a project to send the lab data in Swatini. It's a small country in Africa, just north of South Africa. So the lab test result, it could take 6 months. When the blood is sent to the central lab in the capital, but it takes 6 months for the local village to send somebody to get the report back. And many of these labs are about about T cell count. It's about AIDS treatment, and 6 months could be fatal for them. So we did a telehealth system using the 2.5G, not even 3G, and then we decompose those data into short messages, and so we shortened that from an average of 21 days to like a couple of hours. It should be a couple of minutes, but it takes people to press the button. They only press it like every 12 hours or 24 hours. Anyway, so I think this is very important, and I can see many good examples from this textbook, and I do congratulate your team, and I hope people could also contribute to this textbook, and maybe myself can contribute to it if you're willing. Okay, so I think that this will be a very successful project, and especially it's an open source project. So you have all my respect. Thank you.
Thank you.
So in this, before I call Alvin as president of APAMI, because APAMI has been one of the bigger contributors to this, I'd like to please come up. But one thing which I want to tell you as an example of what Jack just said just now, we are running in India, and in fact, these chapters are going to be as source material for that program. It's called the Digital Health Assistant Program, which is school level children working as assistants to doctors to help them keep their health records and also do telehealth from the premises. Because for the doctor, he doesn't have time. He can only see patients. Here they assist him to make the records. They also look at whether the net is down and, look at the printers not working, small things that they look after, and they do that. And for that training, we are looking at people in remote areas to do it. And then we did the innovative thing, and Simi helped us in that from Western Sydney University. This is a cross-country collaboration. That's how we met, and she started working on the book also. Is that what they did was that we created the content online for the training through single slides, a JPEG with a voiceover. The idea is that, any person who has got low connectivity, he will not be able to download the full presentation at one time. If it stops, what happens? So the single slide is downloaded. It is recorded in the frame that, yes, he has downloaded, he's seen this lesson. Now he can go on to the next slide. As soon as he downloads the single slide, the audio starts. So it's a very, very small footprint on the net. So he can do it in low connectivity areas, and we have been very successful in that project also, which is part of the book project. What we are trying to do is, how do we work with poor resource countries? How do we get them?
We can't sustain if we do not address the needs. So sustainability has been the focus of this program. Otherwise, program would fail.
Yeah, please, Alvin.
Okay, so that's a good idea. But before Alvin comes in, I just wanted to introduce also a very important member of the book production team, Rachel Doherty from the University of Canterbury. Rachel, if you are in the room and if you can kindly turn on your camera, if you can set up a couple of, if we can see you. Or otherwise, I hand it over to Alvin.
Thanks, Aaron. I'm sorry I can't turn on my camera at the moment, but thank you for the invitation. It's great to be here, and a pleasure to be working on the book with you all.
Thank you. Thank you, Rachel. Over to you, Alvin.
Thank you, Arin, Ramin, Rachel, Chinmi. I think this is a very timely book, SB, Simi. All the countries are now trying to achieve universal health coverage, and one of the key qualities of UHC is access. And I think by releasing your book as an open book, you're actually contributing to that quality of UHC, which is access. Second, I think this book is actually very expensive because the experts that you were able to gather are really experts. I mean, this is really a generous gift that you've compiled, and you're valuable. Okay, I agree. I changed my word to valuable. And thank you for that. I mean, the decision to get all of these experts and create value and make it available to everyone, I think that's a very, very major decision. I was there when you were discussing this, and I really appreciate the consensus and the generosity that comes from the author. So congratulations. I hope we can also add chapters to this and also use it in the Philippines, in our medical schools and nursing schools. Thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you. Also, another thing which I'd like to add in this is that if any country wants to have a local language edition, like for the previous book, Korea made their own language book edition, and they published it on there. Of course, that was on as per cost, which Elsevier, the publisher, was charging. But here it's a free this thing. We will even allow a local publication. You get the publication done and charge a small fee because of the publication cost and all that. Make sure that it's available to your population as this, and we will give you the license. Isn't that right, Aaron and Rachel? Aaron? About allowing local publication?
That is correct. The open license will allow translations and other editions. Yeah.
All right.
And I think it's a very good idea to have this work translated into other languages. And well, the specifics will still need to be worked out, but it's in principle we agree to this.
Okay. So again, if you want to download the book right now, we thought the download will be available today. It's a little challenge, but we will make it available. Just get yourself registered, and maybe you can, send all the emails. Arun, can you provide your email for people to be able to download so that you can send them a link? If you do that, put them on the screen somewhere, and also, they can note down, and we will inform it here.
Okay, so I'm quite happy to put my email onto the screen, and you can
note it down, photograph it, and even of all the editors anyway. We'll send you. We will.
Yes. I
Chinmay,
think
maybe you can share the email addresses of all the delegates and their names.
Yes,
and even of Rachel.
I think it's a good idea to
Yeah.
show you the.
So we'll provide you the link as soon as it is available, and you can,
That's right.
of course, send it down the line as required. So right now, 4 chapters are being released. 3 are ready. Just a little bit of fine tuning, and these 3 chapters are, as stated, one is chapter 4, which is basics of information technology related to telehealth. Chapter 5, which is the basics of telehealth per se, the processes behind telehealth. So that's the IT component, the technical component of telehealth is chapter 4. The processes of telehealth, how to do a video conference, how to take send an X-ray across to the other person. Things like the specifics are how to implement telehealth processes within a place is chapter 5. And chapter 15 is it, no? Which is the Australian origins chapter. Chapter 8, which is AI in healthcare, is about to be ready. So it's got some little bit formatting and all that to be done. So 4 chapters are almost ready. 3 are completely ready. The 4th is about to be. And we have got 4, 5 more chapters in the offing within a couple of months, of which Simi is working very hard on. And other chapters, even in these chapters, if you find that you can add something to these chapters, we would be happy to, because this is a live publication.
Yes, it's a live and ongoing publication, as long as the book, and even after publication of the book, we are quite open to see, open to further edits and improve the contents as new contents will come. And this is kind of a new model in which a book becomes a product or a project that lives. It's a living book in that sense. In terms of where we can download and what you want to do, the URL downloads will be provided to all members of the EMEA Telehealth Working Group. And for those of you who are not yet part of the EMEA Telehealth Working Group, you're more than welcome to join us, or you can leave your email addresses and we will be sending you the URL of the ready to you all. Is that all right? You already have Dr. Gogia and Dr. Bajaj in there. So I think
no, but I think maybe on the screen, if you can just type down your address in the chat or something, so that it can be seen.
Okay, no worries. We can do that.
Even Chinmoy, can you put the email addresses of mine and Simi Bajaj and all and others? He has the Chinmoy. Can you just open the share screen? Maybe Chinmoy can do it.
Okay. So what we can do is,
Chinmoy, can you display the chat? Chinmoy?
So I'm going to pause my sharing
screen.
Yeah.
So that Chinmoy can open up the chat.
Yeah. Okay. So you'll just put the addresses. You can note it down. Of course, you will have our cards anyway. And if meanwhile, while he's doing it, any questions, any comments, we look forward to it. Please. Yeah.
The field is evolving very fast. So do you have plans of expanding the concepts, or are you just really going to focus on telehealth and remote care?
I mean, we are happy to do it as part of the ongoing, but that depends on the amount of funding we had. And maybe Rachel can answer how much they are willing to expand. So right now we had asked them for funding for this project, how much they are willing to. So Rachel, can you comment on that?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the original question, but
so
in
the
terms
question
of
by Alvin, the president of APAMI, is that will you expand the scope of this book beyond telehealth?
Oh, okay. So I can't really speak to that. I think that's probably an editorial decision, but in terms of funding at this stage, it would be something to renegotiate with CORE. So that could be a possibility for future. Yeah.
And Dr. Jayas also? Okay, this is fine. This is fine for now. Okay, just you can note down these. Is that okay? Yeah, but you'll and you have a cards and all. Yeah. Any other questions? Yeah, please.
Thank you so much.
Please
Wonderful.
introduce yourself. Sorry.
Wonderful session. I'm Professor Hannah Suominen from the Australian National University.
Oh.
Very much a fan of a resource of this kind, both for teaching as well as self-learning and community awareness. You mentioned yesterday there was a TA meeting and that there was a clear understanding, clear separation, how the different terms, key terms, what are they and how they relate to each other and what's the difference. Could you please summarize this discussion a little bit to those of us who might not have been there, and also what are the key trends in these debates?
Sorry, I mean, during the EMEA GA.
EMEA GA, you mentioned that it had to do with you mentioned that there was a clear understanding how digital tools and telehealth align with each other as terms. And my students just get these things always confused.
And
yes.
So often the understanding with telehealth in layman's term is contacting doctors via video conferencing, and that's about it. But it's much, much beyond that. So when we are talking about digital tools, we're talking about data collection, data capturing, data storage, data transmission, and tools to be able to safeguard the data, connectivity supported by networks. So when we say the joining of digital tools with telehealth, and we are addressing that in the handbook as well, it is quite important to make everyone understand the scope of telehealth and remote care and how these digital tools play a strong role in making this possible. So implementation of telehealth and remote care is practically impossible without the digital tools. I hope that answers. Thank you.
Over and above is one thing which is, and that's part of the book also, of what we call change management. How do we change from a physical to a digital environment? And, the challenges which are faced, because some people, there's a learning curve of how to use it. There's an unlearning curve of getting rid of what you wanted to say. And I'll give you a very interesting example, which I have faced. Once we ran, this is nothing to do with telehealth. It was just pure digital, world which we tried to create. We are working in a place, we try to give them a software to, ensure that the person who are coming for their admission, they are digitized so that the admission process becomes faster. They don't have to wait in so much line. They can fill in the form is filled in and then admission number is generated automatically and all that. But the person who is running the system, he was so used to entering the data in the register that this is the patient name entered. So here when we are digital, he types something, the name, whatever the patient demography, automatically admission number is generated, the department is placed, and it goes on to the next part. Here he would enter in a register also besides writing in the patient's face sheet physically. And he said, I don't want to change that. I'm so used to it. I don't want to type. Because the typing is going to take longer. How do we ensure that this occurs and things like that? So.
I'd like to add to that, and that's not just for this field. My background, I'm from School of Computer Data and Mathematical Sciences, and I've been working in the space of enterprise computing and social computing. I still do that, and I'm quite new to health informatics, been just 5 years. But that's a very, very common example, and I do lecture in that field, and I often say to the groups that I'm training is that it's about understanding what they are capable of doing. And so that's for enterprises, but because we can't change that. But in social space, it's about empowering them and making them understand the value of the change and how that change can add value in terms of increasing the productivity or doing things faster or making more money and so on. So in this space, understanding that value of what we are offering is very, very important, because otherwise they'll be used to of their usual ways. And in this, the example that Dr. Gogia said, it's actually lack of productivity, because they would enter in the system, plus also because they're not very, very confident about how the system would work, and is it really safe? Is it really doing the job? So empowering them is very important in this field, and that's part of primarily change management he's talking about. I would like to actually invite Arun to, if he wants to add a few words to this.
Yeah, I think the idea here is this, that whether there has to be a distinction between what is defined or practiced as digital health as opposed to telehealth, telemedicine. That was the question, the spirit of that question, as far as I understand. Now, as you definitely know and understand, that telehealth, telemedicine has got a very, very long history. It does not necessarily have to be predicated and equated with what we understand as digital services. I mean, long before people had access to the web or the computers, people were still practicing telemedicine and telehealth. But what has happened since the inception of a digital digital platforms and styles of work is indeed, as Dr. Gogia and Simi have been talking about, is that there has been a change in the paradigm in which we work. So now the idea is more than, and so the idea of wedding or combining a digital perspective to the practice of telehealth, so almost like, the two things have merged. But I think in modern days and today's world, that distinction still makes sense in situations where there are limited resources. And that's also another area where this book and endeavors such as this can be useful. And it's interesting that you bring this up, because yesterday was the passing of the of the U.S. Commander who actually piloted and who played a large role in bringing back Apollo 13 that was doomed. And that was one of the heroic feats of telepractice back in the day, even without ushering the era of what we today call as digital medicine or digital practice. Does that kind of address this question?
Maybe, I don't know. I'll like to add to that, because this is a part of the book anyway, written in the book, part of the history of telemedicine. Like you were saying, that it existed even before. The very first action of using tele for healthcare was by Graham Bell. When he called his assistant, "I've dropped acid on my trousers. Please come and help me." So, we have used remote care with whatever means. There, people have used smoke signals. So healthcare offering remotely is a very, very big need. And how we can, in the current day and age with the new technologies, how we can utilize them to make healthcare better is what we are trying to do and get it adopted. Yeah, please. Please introduce yourself also.
My name is Morten Brun Rasmussen. I'm coming from Denmark. I think this is a really important initiative you have present here. I'm looking forward to read the chapters. I hope we from Denmark can contribute, because we have many things running also in this area. I have a question which I don't understand why you have said that it is remote. You also mentioned now that there is a need here. I think for many years in Denmark, we have also talked about we are a small country and travel 50 kilometers, and so it would be easier with telemedicine or telehealth.
Definitely.
But today it is also around the corner, because you are saving cost and it is easier for the patients and citizens. So why remote? It could be just 100 meters away from the hospital.
Thank you. So that's a very good question and a very good pointer. Actually, the difference basically, that one major reason is the previous book was called Fundamentals of Telemedicine and Telehealth. which was published by a Brazilian a branch of Elsevier, but meant for the audiences which were from Europe and US. That's why it was charged so much. Our reason for, we were targeting basically remote care. Remote care can be anywhere in the thing, means even the next room is telemedicine, like you rightly said. But the thing was that the practitioners, the need in remote areas is much, much more. So we are focusing on that, and not only is the need much, much more, also these are the very people who can't afford such a book. And thirdly, the main thing was that if we make it a second edition of that book, Elsevier will come after us. So we had to name it differently because the topic is different, it is advanced, and also because now we are making a different book. Even the title is different now. So we are little legally sound because, finally, we are also liable for something. We gave the copyright for whatever reason we gave it at that time, because at that time we were in a hurry that something is required. Now we realize much more focus that this is required for an audience which cannot afford what we had worked for before. That's the difference. You understand? I hope you understand. Does that answer your question?
I would also like to add a couple of things here. I think if you can view it's a very interesting take on what is remote and what is near. And, sometimes what we envision as remote can be the person next door. But that does not mean that that person is not remote in the sense that that person is not in the immediate vicinity of it. So, for example, in the country where we work, in New Zealand, there are areas that you would not really consider to be remote from a geographical or spatial point of view, but they're otherwise quite difficult to reach areas. So a person who is present in those circumstances would still need to practice and deliver care. And what can that person do? And so that's where we thought that a text such as this might be beneficial and useful. And that, of course, I take your point in Denmark. That's really useful. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other? Phil, you want to say something? Okay. I think we'll call it a day. Thank you, Rachel. Thank you, Arya. And anyone from online who wants to come in, Lalit?
Oh, he's left.
Is there?
Is it? Oh, yeah.
Relatively. Any comments from the online people? Padam? So Padam is part of Sati, so he is joined from, that's why.
Okay. I think all good. Thank you so much, Arun, for joining in. And I'd like to really thank you, Rachel, for all your patience with helping us understand the processes and tirelessly supporting us behind. Thank you so much. Can we give a round of applause to their support? Thank you.
Thank you, Simi. It's been a pleasure to be part of the book.
Thank you so much. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, so we're signing off. Thank you.
See ya. Bye-bye.
Photograph with all the people?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Arun, can you please say Rachel as well? Oh, she's left, I think.
Oh, okay.
We can have you, Arun, in the background. Virtually with us.
Yeah, virtually. Would you rather like to have the book shared as a screenshot or what?
Yeah. Right. It's okay. This is a recording anyway.
Okay.
This is a recording. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
I just wanted to, in response to your question, I just wanted to make a comment that it doesn't necessarily, patients don't necessarily need to be remote to have a usefulness for remote.
Yes.
No. Or was that not your argument? Or
It was.
Yeah, I got your argument. That was my point as well. So,
I understand, but when I hear the term, then I think it is far away. And actually, Taiwan's strategy on high level is actually to keep the patient out of the hospital, which means that you can, for example, for COPD, where I'm working a lot, standards, and today we have this as a health service, which the patient have the right to use that service and to get the service, including that.
Oops, we lost that person. Too bad.
Oh, disconnected, I think.
Yeah, I got disconnected. Anyway, all the best. Thank you, Chinmay. We can catch up later. Thank you. Bye.
Bye, sir. Logging off.
See ya.